God damn. God damn.
Oh, that was a chunk, dude.
Oh my god. Ooh! I'm just getting backhanded.
Okay, now I didn't really plan on focusing on any Prismatic Hunter builds soon after we got access to the exotic class items. But when we can throw grapple melees for sometimes over 1,000,000 a pop, yeah, I gotta make a build video on it because, dude, with this setup, you're gonna be able to output more damage with grapple melees than even a pre-nerf Banner of War Titan could, which is honestly absurd to even say because we all saw the sheer amount of bosses that folded to a single Banner of War Titan last season. And now with Prismatic and the exotic class items, we just got the ability to take this to the next level. So if you want to have a hunter build that outputs the most melee damage in the game at the moment, it's not even close. It really isn't. So if you want to have a hunter build that outputs some of the highest damage in the game, we got you covered. If you want to out Banner of War the Banner of War Titans with their whole bread and butter, I got you covered. But we're on a Prismatic Hunter and we don't have the Banner of War aspect. So what exactly are we going to need for this setup? Well, of course, we're going to need our usual stuff like a navigator and a 1-2 punch shotgun. You know, your standard stuff for melee builds. But we're also going to throw in a little bit of spice and some things nice to help give it the extra oomph, the juice to really go to work. Also, real quick, I just want to let y'all know that if you ever want to get your games and those games DLC for a cheaper price, you can always hit up Instant Gaming, the top link in the description, in case you ever want to save some money on your games and games DLC. Now let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a closer look at the setup for the build. Alright people, let's talk about the build. First things first, the subclass. Prismatic Hunter, we know is insane. However, there's some stuff that we can do to have our Prismatic Hunter do even more melee damage than pre-nerfed Banner Titan ever could with grapple melees, which is insane to think about, but we can do it on Prismatic Hunter. First things first, you want to have Stylish Executioner. Very, very important that you have Stylish Executioner. And then Winter Shroud is also going to be very good just for your neutral game. That's why I have it here. Grapple melee, obviously. Combo blow for neutral gameplay. And of course, you pair that with Gambler's Dodge for an infinite loop. These will make for a beautiful neutral game setup. Now, we have Tether here as well. Some people might look at that like, why not Golden Gun for a big burst of damage? Well, we really have to have Deadfall here because it's a Void Super, so that Facet of Purpose gives us an overshield whenever we pick up an orb of power. And you might be thinking, why would I go for an overshield when restoration is just better? Hold on, I'm getting there. The reason why we have to have a Void Super is because of Shield Crush. While you have Woven Mail Frost Armor or a Void Overshield, your melee recharges faster and deals increased damage. That is why we have to have Tether as our super, so we can get this extra melee damage bonus from Shield Crush. Another really good artifact mod is this one. While you have a Void or Prismatic subclass equipped, defeating a weakened target grants a small Void Overshield. You pair this with Shield Crush, you see the combination that we're going for. Tether the boss, along with some adds, because you don't want to tether all of them in one go. And then as you do your grapple melees, you will proc both of these at the same time, allowing for some serious chunking. These two mods are the most important for this setup on the artifact. Anything else, you can kind of just go with whatever you want. As long as you have Shield Crush in this one, you will be good to go. Now back to the subclass. Now that we've explained why we have Deadfall here, we can talk about some of the fragments. Now, because the core of Prismatic Hunter is so strong already, you have so much flexibility when it comes to your fragments. Just make sure you're running Purpose. Protection is always going to be good. Courage is also always going to be good. But in terms of doing sheer insane amounts of damage with your grapple melees, you only need purpose. Everything else is mainly going to play into your neutral game, staying alive, slaying out, and kicking ass. For my fragments, I've chose to go with courage, protection, ruin, blessing as the other 4 because you have to have purpose. Because Prismatic Hunter is so good at base at its core, especially if you have these 2 fragments with combo blow and gambler's dodge, you can kind of slot on whatever you want. Maybe a little bit of sacrifice here or there, but these are just what I have to rock with my build. You have a lot of flexibility with your other 4 fragments that you decide to go with. But if you're a little overwhelmed by what you should run for Prismatic, just go ahead and copy exactly what I have here, and you will be a-okay in both doing your insane grapple melee damage and slaying out a bunch of ads in between. Now, the weapons, the only thing that you really have to have is some way of making a grapple point, and if you're by yourself, the only way to do that is with the Navigator Trace Rifle and then a 1-2 punch shotgun to amp up your grapple melee damage even more, okay? If you've ever done any Banner of War practice in the past, this will come to no surprise to you why we have these 2 weapons. Also, keep in mind that Grave Robber did get a change to where now you only have to do damage with a charged melee in order to reload the weapon, which is why I have Grave Robber on the Ikelos. It's also the same one I used on Banner last season, so it just fits perfectly in this build as well. Your heavy weapon doesn't matter for shit. I just have an eager edge sword on just so I can be moving through, but you could totally just rock with something like a commemoration. It honestly just depends on the situation you're in. Now, the other uber important piece to making this entire build work and flow together is going to be the new exotic class item. This is one that I got earlier today, and the main perk that you want on your exotic class item is Syntheseps, obviously, because this is going to increase our melee damage when we're surrounded. When we have 3 or more enemies, and I think it's like a 5 or 8 meter radius of you, it'll proc biotic enhancements, which is a 165% melee damage bonus. And yes, that obviously buffs your grapple melees. The other perk that you get is really just going to be the cherry on top. Luckily for me, I got Spirit of Inmost Lights, so we can basically spam our abilities anytime, anywhere, and if we whiff our grapple, we can very quickly get it back because of Spirit of Inmost Light. Shout out to Hoyle on Prismatic Hunter, my boy. Although you don't need to have this, but you have to have Spirit of the Syntheseps. Now, to take a little bit closer into the mod, if you want to get your super back very quick, which I do recommend, put on 2 dynamos on your helmet. For your gauntlets, I would recommend something like this. Maybe you have 2 firepower mods, 2 heavy-handeds. Either way, you want to have something like this so that you can make orbs while you're doing the damage. That way you can make orbs because you're going to get kills on the tethered enemies because they're tethered while you're grapple meleeing the boss, which will proc purpose, which will give you an overshield, which will help you proc shield crush. Very important. It'll also help you proc this mod as well, so you can have another avenue of getting more Void Overshield so that you can be proccing Shield Crush more often. It's very important that you can get Overshield somehow while you're doing damage, because that will really juice up your grapple melee's damage. If you want your grapple melees to be hitting for over 1 million each, you want to have a Void Overshield so you can proc Shield Crush. I'm trying to drill that into your head. That way you can crack out on some grapple melee damage. Your chest piece, put on your favorite defensive mods. I have 2 concussives because they stack. And then your boots really don't matter too much what you have on there. I just have on some scav mods and then a recoup to help keep me alive. Since we're going to be making orbs, having a recoup to pick up while you're doing everything can be pretty useful. It's a reason why we have Powerful Attraction to pick up all the orbs we're doing, even in the neutral game, without having to physically run over and pick them up. How the fuck do I have a time dilation on? All right, now that I fixed my little blunder there, I have 2 Powerful Attractions just to increase the radius in which we can pick up orbs whenever we're rolling around on the ground. Be real useful. I love Special Finisher. We have 2 special weapons. Might as well slot it on. But that is the whole main setup for the Prismatic Hunter grapple melee damage spewing build. So there we have it. The Prismatic Hunter build that spews out an absurd amount of damage and can really do some some serious chunking. I just want to say that some of the serious chunking definitely comes when you can time coming out of your invisibility right as you grapple melee the boss. But man, is it just crazy that we have another melee build that is out here wrecking shop, and it's not even a Titan one anymore. We have officially evolved. If you're a hunter main out there, I know you're eating good and having a blast with Prismatic, but I want you guys to go ahead and let me know your thoughts and opinions on the build down below in the comments, along with your favorite Prismatic build at the moment. Hope you guys have gotten some good luck farming for your exotic class items, and remember, we will be having a dim link to this setup exactly the way I have it in the description if you would just like to use that. Thank you so much for watching the video. You guys be safe, take care, consider subscribing, and I'll see your beautiful faces in the next one. Adios.